Clear end date. So while the initial budget you're creating using this template is for the first year, you always need to consider the recurring costs. Things like software subscriptions, ongoing training modules, dedicated personnel for future years. This kind of forward thinking ensures the program is sustainable. It prevents it from being seen as just some fleeting, temporary initiative that will fade away.
Exactly. This approach establishes data governance as an embedded, ongoing operational capability, not just a temporary project. It enables continuous improvement. It allows you to adapt to evolving regulations, new technologies. It ensures the organization can truly mature its data capabilities over time. It's a recognition that data is, a living asset. It requires persistent care and attention.
So as we're seeing, data governance isn't just one big line item on a budget request. It's this meticulously planned investment across people, tools, expert advice, and maybe most importantly, culture. It's really a testament to how seriously an organization truly values its data assets. Let's dive a bit deeper now into each of those four core sections that the template outlines.
Okay, this first pillar, personnel costs. This covers the human resources you need to lead the program, manage it day to day, and actually execute the work. This can include full-time salaries for new people you hire, or, quite significantly, the monetary value of the time allocated by existing staff who are going to take on data governance responsibilities alongside the regular jobs. This is where you put a real, tangible value on the human effort required to make this happen.
And the template is really good at outlining key roles with specific justifications. For instance, you've got the data governance lead or manager. This is typically a full-time role. This person spearheads the whole program. They facilitate the governance committees, oversee the implementation plan. They're really the architect and the dedicated driver of the entire initiative. Without this dedicated, probably quite senior leadership, the whole thing can quickly lose direction, lose momentum.
Then you have data stewards. Now, these are often existing subject matter experts, people from various departments, maybe finance, HR, legal, or even clinical departments if you're in healthcare. The template suggests allocating around, say, 15% of their time specifically to data governance tasks. They're the ones responsible for defining data, managing its quality, ensuring it's used correctly within their specific domains. Their cost gets calculated as a percentage of their existing salary. And that highlights something important. Data quality isn't just an IT problem. It's a shared business responsibility right across the organization.
Right. Next are the data custodians. These folks are usually in IT. They might have about a 20% allocation of their time. They're responsible for the technical side of managing data. Things like security, storage, making sure it's accessible, doing backups. This allocation covers their dedicated time, ensuring the underlying technical infrastructure actually supports the governance framework properly. Again, calculated as a percentage of their salary.
And finally, there's a small, but strategically really significant, allocation for executive sponsor time, maybe just 5% of their working hours. But this represents the time that senior leadership dedicates to providing strategic direction, championing the program from the very top, clearing organizational roadblocks when they pop up. Their active involvement signals the organization's unwavering commitment. It helps overcome that internal resistance you often see. And the relevance here is just profound. Without the right people leading, guiding, executing, even the best technology will simply fail to deliver results. This section really highlights that non-negotiable investment in human capital and dedicated focus. It recognizes that data governance is fundamentally a people challenge before it's ever a technology one.
Okay, moving on to technology and software costs. This section covers the necessary tools, the platforms you need to support the data governance framework. These are the enablers, right? The automation engines that streamline and scale data management processes that would just be impossible to handle manually in any modern organization.
Absolutely. Think of these as the essential backbone. They enable scalability, consistency, efficiency. Key items often include a data catalog and business glossary tool. This is typically procured as an annual subscription. It's basically an essential inventory of all your organization's data assets. It makes it much easier for users, wherever they sit in the company, to discover data, understand what it means, and trust that it's accurate. You can imagine it as a comprehensive, searchable library for all your data, providing clear definitions, showing where data came from its lineage.
And then there's the data quality management tool,
Yeah.
also often an annual subscription. This software helps you profile your data, cleanse it, monitor its quality, and report on issues proactively before they cause major problems. It's absolutely crucial for ensuring data accuracy, consistency, reliability, and that directly impacts everything from operational efficiency and decision-making right through to regulatory compliance and customer trust. Without this, you're just constantly firefighting, dealing with the headache of bad data.
And for maybe more mature programs or organizations with significant master data challenges, a master data management MDM tool might be included. This could be a subscription or maybe a perpetual license. MDM creates that single source of truth for your really critical foundational data entities. Things like customers, employees, products, suppliers. It unifies data that's often fragmented across dozens of different systems. It's foundational for getting consistent reporting, for comprehensive customer insights, for accurate financial consolidation. Really important stuff. And then there's implementation and integration, which is typically a significant one-time cost. We touched on this before. This covers the crucial expense of integrating any new software you buy with your existing systems, whether that's electronic medical records, HR systems, ERPs, or even custom-built departmental databases. The relevance of technology here is clear. It acts as the backbone. It enables the scalability, the automation, the consistency in your data governance processes that you simply couldn't achieve manually in any large or complex organization today.
Okay, next section. Professional services and consulting. This covers bringing in external expertise for specialized tasks, things that might be beyond your internal team's capabilities, or where you really benefit from an independent validation, a fresh perspective. Sometimes you just need an outside expert to help get things off the ground, or maybe just to check your approach and make sure you're on the right track.
Indeed. And one key service here is often initial framework consulting. This means bringing in an external consultant or maybe a specialized firm to provide expert guidance. They can help design your data governance framework from scratch or tailor an existing best practice framework to your organization's specific needs. They can really accelerate the development process. They bring best practices, industry benchmarks, and often they're very good at helping navigate those tricky internal politics and complexities. Another critical service, especially in today's regulatory climate, is legal and regulatory review. This typically involves engaging a specialized law firm. Their job is to ensure that your drafted data governance policy is fully compliant with all the relevant laws, local ones, international ones like Ghana's Data Protection Act 843, or specific industry mandates. This step mitigates significant legal and compliance risks. Absolutely vital.
The relevance here seems pretty clear. Professional services bring in specialized, often quite niche knowledge. They can accelerate implementation because you're leveraging external experience. And crucially, they help ensure compliance, which is just so vital in complex regulatory environments. It's really about leveraging expertise that you don't necessarily need or want to build entirely internally from scratch, or maybe where having that independent expert eye is essential for credibility or assurance.
Okay, finally, we arrive at training and change management. This section covers the absolutely vital costs of embedding the data governance culture right across the entire organization. As we've mentioned a couple of times now, this is not just about tools and policies. It's profoundly about people adopting new ways of working with data. And that represents a massive cultural shift in many organizations. Arguably, this is the most critical component for achieving long-term sustainable success.
Absolutely. Key items here would include training materials development. Things like creating online learning modules, maybe comprehensive handbooks, quick reference guides. This covers the cost of designing and creating engaging, relevant content that's tailored for different roles. Data stewards might need deep dives, while general employees just need basic awareness training. Then there are actual training sessions, like workshops, seminars conducted for all staff. This covers the cost of delivering the training itself, facilitator time, logistical support, making sure the knowledge actually gets transferred effectively.
And you simply cannot forget communication and awareness campaigns. Things like internal marketing initiatives, maybe posters, regular internal newsletters, updates on the internet. These are ongoing activities. They're designed to continuously promote the importance, the benefits, the practical aspects of data governance throughout the organization. The goal is fostering a truly data-aware and data-responsible culture. This is arguably the most critical component for long-term sustainability, because data governance fundamentally relies on widespread cultural shift, on enthusiastic adoption by employees. Without investing adequately here, even the most meticulously crafted policies and cutting-edge technologies will, unfortunately, probably just gather dust. They become expensive liabilities rather than the valuable assets they should be.
Right. Now, all of these sections, personnel, tech, services, training, they all culminate in the summary and conclusion, which is section 5.0 in the template. This provides that clear, aggregated overview. It sums up all the costs from the preceding section to give you your grand total for the initial year's investment.
And here, it's absolutely crucial to reiterate the importance of that contingency fund. As the template meticulously suggests, adding maybe 10–15% of the total budget is standard practice. It's there to cover unforeseen expenses, scope changes, unexpected challenges, things that almost inevitably arise during the implementation of complex initiatives. This isn't just padding the budget, it's a calculated investment in the program's resilience, its adaptability. It ensures it doesn't get derailed by the unpredictable things that always happen.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, thinking about your own situation? This comprehensive breakdown really shows us that data governance isn't just one big amorphous line item. It's a meticulously planned investment across 4 critical pillars: people, the right tools, expert advice, and most importantly, that cultural transformation piece. It's really a profound testament to how seriously an organization genuinely values its data. And the duper message here, which Professor Boateng and Dr. Barnor's guide implicitly emphasizes, is that a thoughtfully prepared budget is far more than just a financial document. It really is a declaration of intent. By comprehensively planning for all these costs, an organization demonstrates its unwavering commitment, a commitment to transforming its data from a potential liability into a reliable, secure, and truly strategic asset that fuels its future success.
That's exactly where the strategic value truly crystallizes. It's not just about the final number, the grand total, it's about the balanced allocation across these 4 critical pillars, each one reinforcing the others, creating a sustainable, resilient program. This holistic view is what helps convince leadership that the investment isn't just sound financially, but it's been meticulously considered, that it's essential for the organization's long-term health and competitiveness in a data-driven world.
Now, it's really important to recognize that implementing data governance, well, it's a complex undertaking. It goes way beyond just the financial investment. Organizations absolutely must anticipate and plan for various common challenges. And these challenges, they can vary significantly depending on the sector you're in or the type of organization. What's truly surprising, I find, is how the same fundamental challenge governing data effectively presents itself with such unique hurdles, such different nuances across different industries and organizational structures. It really highlights that a true one-size-fits-all approach just doesn't work for data governance.
That's a critical observation, and it raises an important question, doesn't it? How do organizations navigate these sector-specific nuances while still adhering to the universal best practices you find in a template like this one? It really speaks to the critical role of tailoring your strategies within that broader governance framework. Maybe let's look at some of these challenges, perhaps starting by sector. #tag 4.2 challenges by sector.
Okay, let's take financial services. Banks, insurance companies. Regulatory complexity is arguably the single biggest challenge they face. Banks, for example, they're subject to stringent, constantly changing regulations. Think Bank of Ghana directives or international standards like BCBS 239, which is all about risk data aggregation and reporting. So data governance in this sector, it absolutely must prioritize ironclad compliance, data lineage, knowing exactly where data came from and how it changed, and auditability above almost everything else, because the penalties for getting it wrong are just severe.
And they also frequently grapple with deeply entrenched legacy systems. Financial institutions often rely on old, complex mainframe systems. These are incredibly difficult, incredibly costly to integrate with modern governance tools. They create data silos, integration nightmares. It's a huge technical challenge. And then, of course, there are the high security stakes. The financial cost, the reputational cost of data breach in the financial sector is just immense. So they have to take a security-first approach, which can sometimes feel like it conflicts with the need for agility, for speed of data access. It's a constant balancing act.
Now, for manufacturing firms, a primary hurdle is often that unique challenge of integrating IT versus OT data. What does that mean? It means integrating traditional business data from IT systems, ERPs, CRMs with operational technology, or OT data coming directly from factory floors, from sensors, from machinery. These 2 types of data, they have vastly different formats, different speeds, velocities, different owners often. Integrating them for comprehensive governance is a real headache.
Yeah, and on top of that, they often face immense supply chain complexity. Governing data that's shared across a sprawling, often global supply chain, with multiple partners each probably having their own data practices, that's tough. And in the age of Industry 4.0, smart factories, there are real-time data needs. Data governance has to be implemented in a way that doesn't impede those immediate data flows that are required for automated operational decisions. That can be a really delicate balancing act between maintaining control and enabling speed.
And what about technology firms? Their unique challenge is often the sheer pace of innovation. Data governance can sometimes be perceived, rightly or wrongly, as a bureaucratic barrier, something that slows down the rapid innovation, the move fast, break things culture that's common in many tech companies. So the goal for them is often to implement governance by design, meaning it's built into processes right from the start. It should enable innovation, not restrict it. That's the ideal, anyway.
Furthermore, tech firms often deal with truly massive data volumes. We're talking petabyte-scale user data sometimes. Governing that volume, effectively ensuring its quality, its security, its privacy, requires significant investment in automation, in highly scalable technology, often in advanced AI-driven tools just to cope. And given the vast amounts of personal data they often hold, privacy and ethics are constantly front and center. Tech firms face intense scrutiny from the public, from regulators over data privacy and ethical use. It's a paramount governance challenge for them, and one that's constantly evolving. Hashtag 4.3 challenges by organizational focus.
Okay, shifting focus slightly, let's think about challenges based on the overall organizational type. For the public sector that includes government agencies, universities, a major persistent issue is often bureaucracy and silos. Deeply entrenched departmental silos, rigid bureaucratic processes, these can severely hinder the cross-functional collaboration that is the absolute cornerstone of effective data governance. Sometimes it's a real struggle just to get everyone in the same room, let alone on the same page.
hmm And they also have to contend with rigid budgeting cycles and often severe financial constraints. Their budgets are typically annual. That makes it really difficult to secure the consistent, long-term funding that data governance programs need. Remember, these programs are continuous, not one-year projects. Furthermore, political will can be a big factor. The success of a program often depends on the sustained support of political appointees or senior leaders whose positions might change frequently with elections or reorganizations. That can cause disruptive interruptions to long-term strategic initiatives like this.
Now, in the private sector, which covers diverse industries like retail, manufacturing, banking, the primary overarching challenge is usually demonstrating that return on investment, the ROI. Data governance is frequently seen, perhaps unfairly, as a cost center, a necessary evil you have to do for compliance, maybe. So leaders in this space absolutely must clearly articulate its tangible return. This could be through quantified risk reduction, measurable improvements in operational efficiency, or maybe showing how better data directly creates new revenue opportunities.
Resistance to change is also really common in the private sector. Employees might resist new processes if they perceive them as bureaucratic or time-consuming, or just something that slows down their daily work. Overcoming that, it requires a strong, sustained change management plan, good communication that highlights the what's in it for me for every employee involved. And finally, there's that delicate balance again between agility and control. Private firms have to be agile to compete effectively in fast-moving markets. So the challenge is implementing a governance framework that provides the necessary controls and safeguards, but without stifling the speed and flexibility needed to react to market changes and innovate rapidly.
Lastly, let's consider non-governmental organizations, NGOs. For them, resource scarcity is often a huge fundamental hurdle. NGOs typically operate with very limited budgets, often small IT teams. That can make the cost of sophisticated governance tools or hiring dedicated personnel potentially prohibitive. It's a constant battle for resources.
Their governance efforts are also often driven by the specific and sometimes conflicting reporting requirements of different donors and grant providers. This fragmented landscape makes it incredibly hard to create a single, unified data governance framework that satisfies all these different stakeholders simultaneously. And crucially, NGOs often handle highly sensitive data about vulnerable populations. The ethical responsibility, the legal responsibility to protect this data is immense. They need robust governance despite often facing severe resource constraints. This ethical imperative adds a whole other layer of complexity and criticality to their data management efforts.
Okay, let's really bring Professor Boateng and Dr. Barnor's template to life now with some real-world examples. These come directly from their guide. This is where the rubber truly meets the road, right? We can see how organizations with very different mandates actually apply this framework in practice. Let's kick off with Ecobank Ghana Plixik. This is a systemically important financial institution, over 2,000 employees. Their objectives for data governance, they're incredibly clear and definitely high stakes. Ironclad security of customer financial data, full compliance with Bank of Ghana directives, the Data Protection Act 843, enhanced risk modeling and reporting accuracy, and critically, unlocking data for strategic growth.
Yeah, what's truly striking when you look at Ecobank's budget breakdown is the almost disproportionate investment in technology and professional services specifically aimed at compliance and risk management. They're budgeting nearly GHS 2 million just for master data management and advanced data quality tools. That really underscores how critical it is for them to have a single source of truth and absolutely ironclad data quality, especially when dealing with complex financial regulations like BCBS 239, those international banking standards for risk data, and of course, maintaining customer trust. It's kind of an aha moment, isn't it? It shows that compliance isn't cheap, but it's utterly non-negotiable in the financial sector. Their total estimated first-year investment based on the template is a pretty substantial GHS 12,374,000. Now, to give our global listeners some perspective, that's roughly 1.8 million US dollars at current exchange rates. A significant sum.
Let's break that down a bit. Their personnel costs come in at GHS 4,710,000. That's roughly 38% of the total budget. This includes a full-time head of data governance or maybe a chief data officer, that's a senior executive, VP level, costing GHS 720,000 a year. This role is paramount, leading the program, driving that data-centric culture, bringing deep expertise in banking data regulation. They also have 2 full-time data governance managers budgeted at GHS 840,000 combined. They handle the day-to-day operations, focus on policy, stewardship, technology, quality.
And they've budgeted for 3 dedicated data quality analysts costing GHS 750,000. These roles are crucial. They're proactively profiling data across critical systems, core banking, CRM, treasury systems. They manage the remediation workflows when issues are found. They develop specific quality dashboards for regulators. The significant investment right here shows their commitment to accuracy and compliance, because in their world, even minor data errors can lead to major regulatory penalties.
And the allocation of existing staff time is really notable too. They have 25 data stewards. These are senior managers from all the major data domains dedicating 20% of their time, which is about 8 hours a week. That allocation alone totals GHS 1,500,000. Plus, they have 10 IT data custodians allocating 30% of their time, costing GHS 900,000. That's for managing the technical infrastructure, ensuring data security is tight.
Okay, turning to technology and software costs. This makes up about GHS 4,550,000, or 37% of their budget. A top-tier enterprise data catalog and glossary is budgeted as an annual subscription of GHS 900,000. This is vital for them to map their entire data landscape, provide that data lineage needed for internal audits, and meet external regulatory requirements like BCBS 239.
Then there's an advanced data quality and monitoring platform. This one has AI capabilities for automated monitoring of data quality, particularly for KYC, know your customer, AML, anti-money laundering, and credit risk data. That's budgeted at GHS 1,100,000 annually. And then a master data management MDM hub budgeted to GHS 1,800,000. This is absolutely essential for achieving a single customer view, which is foundational for accurate risk aggregation and effective customer strategy in banking. You need that unified view.
And remember that substantial one-time cost we talked about. For implementation and integration, they've allocated GHS 750,000 for this, and it's specifically earmarked for a specialized financial services integrator, someone who knows how to connect these new platforms to the bank's complex mix of legacy and modern systems. It recognizes that integrating with existing, sometimes decades-old infrastructure is a major, intricate job needing specialized expertise.
Okay, for professional services and consulting, that totals GHS 950,000, roughly 8% of the budget. EcoBank allocates GHS 600,000 for strategic framework consulting. This is planned as a 4-month engagement with a top-tier consulting firm that specializes in financial services data governance. The goal is to ensure alignment with international standards like DAMA, the Data Management Association, and BCBS 239.
And a specialized law firm is budgeted for GHS 350,000 to provide that crucial legal and regulatory review, making sure the policy framework is absolutely watertight against Ghana's Data Protection Act 843, all the Bank of Ghana directives, and the AML-CFT Act, anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism. This is just non-negotiable for a financial institution. Legal and compliance risks are absolutely paramount.
Finally, training and change management is budgeted at GHS 550,000, which is about 4.5% of the total budget. This includes GHS 250,000 for developing custom e-learning modules. These need to be mandatory, role-based, and probably include testing or certification for everyone from bank tellers right up to risk analysts. Plus, GHS 300,000 for bank-wide workshops and a sustained communication campaign, really embedding data responsibility across all levels of the organization.
So their total first-year budget, and this includes a robust 15% contingency of GHS 1,614,000, comes to that significant GHS 12,374,000. This detailed breakdown, it truly highlights the multifaceted nature of data governance in a highly regulated, data-intensive industry like financial services. Every component is critical.
Okay, now let's pivot to a very different context. The University of Ghana. This is a large public university. We're talking over 3,000 staff, more than 60,000 students. Their objectives: secure sensitive student data, staff data, research data, ensure compliance with the Data Protection Act 843 and specific educational regulations, improve data quality for things like academic planning and reporting, and foster more data-driven decision-making across the whole institution. It's truly fascinating, I think, to see how the complexities of a university, all its diverse academic departments, research centers, the huge student body, how that translates into a unique data governance challenge. It's less about complex financial transactions and much more about academic integrity, personal privacy, and just the efficient operation of this vast, multifaceted public institution.
Yeah, this budget, with its total estimated first-year investment of GHS 10,005,000, that's approximately 1.4 million US dollars, it significantly highlights that public sector challenge we discussed earlier. The bureaucracy, the silos, which are often deeply entrenched in large academic institutions. It really necessitates having a strong central data governance office and making significant investments in tools and processes just to unify data that's currently fragmented across dozens of disparate systems used by various departments and faculties. The emphasis here seems less on market competitiveness, more on operational efficiency, maintaining public trust, and complying with privacy laws related to students and research.
Let's look at their personnel costs. They account for GHS 4,120,000, which is about 41% of their budget. The university allocates GHS 600,000 for a full-time director of data governance. This is a senior director level role, crucial for providing strategic leadership and acting as that central liaison across all the college's, faculty's, administrative units. They've also budgeted for 3 full-time data governance analysts at GHS 720,000 combined. They'll manage the day-to-day operations, provide essential support to the data stewards, and help run the broader data governance program.
And interestingly, they also budget for a full-time data architect at GHS 360,000. This is a key technical expert. Their task is to map the university's incredibly complex data landscape, which includes everything from the student information system, their MIS web, to various research databases, financial systems, even learning management systems like Sakai. This role is critical in a decentralized academic environment where data often resides in numerous unconnected systems. Someone needs to understand that whole picture.
Their approach to data stewards is quite robust, too. They've identified 40 staff members, deans, directors, heads of department, who will allocate 15% of their time. That totals GHS 1,800,000. This really emphasizes that data ownership extends deeply into both academic and administrative leadership roles. And they have 8 native custodians from the University of Ghana Computing Systems, UGCS, dedicating 25% of their time, costing GHS 640,000. That's for managing the technical infrastructure, the security controls, system access for critical university data.
Okay, on the technology and software costs front, this totals GHS 3,400,000, roughly 34% of their budget. They allocate GHS 750,000 for an enterprise data catalog and glossary as an annual subscription. This platform is vital for them to inventory data from all those disparate sources, student records, research grants, HR, finance. It provides clarity and discoverability across the sprawling university environment.
A data quality and monitoring platform is budgeted at GHS 850,000 annually. The goal here is to automate the monitoring of critical data quality, especially in their student information system, financial records, HR databases, and they highly recommend a master data management, MDM hub, budgeted at GHS 1,200,000. This is to create that single authoritative source for student data and staff data, which, as they note, is often fragmented across multiple systems in a large university like theirs.
And again, that significant one-time cost for implementation and integration comes in at GHS 600,000. This is necessary for connecting these new platforms with their core legacy systems: OSIS, Online Student Information System, ITS, Integrated Tertiary Software, Sakai, the Learning Management System, and probably numerous bespoke faculty databases that have sprung up over the years. This really highlights the substantial integration challenge faced by large educational institutions with diverse, sometimes old systems.
For professional services and consulting, they've budgeted GHS 700,000, which is about 7% of the total budget. They plan for GHS 450,000 to engage a higher education consulting firm. This is envisioned as a 3-month engagement to help establish governance committees, tailor policies specifically for academic and research data needs, and help define a multi-year roadmap for the university.
And they budget GHS 250,000 for a specialized law firm. This is for a thorough legal review to ensure compliance with the Data Protection Act 843, particularly concerning student rights, the handling of sensitive research data, and perhaps intellectual property issues. This is crucial for protecting privacy and maintaining academic integrity in a university setting.
Lastly, training and change management totals GHS 480,000, representing about 5% of the budget. This includes GHS 200,000 for developing custom training programs, both online and in-person materials. It needs to cover role-specific training for data stewards, researchers, administrative staff, plus general awareness across the entire campus community. And GHS 280,000 is allocated for campus-wide workshops and a sustained communication campaign, really driving home the new data-aware culture across all faculties, colleges, and administrative directorates.
So their total first-year budget, including a 15% contingency of GHS 1,305,000, comes to GHS 10,005,000. This budget clearly reflects the unique challenges of a public sector educational institution. It emphasizes compliance with privacy regulations, the big task of unifying data across traditionally siloed academic and administrative units, and the growing importance of reliable data for academic planning and research excellence.
Okay, this next one is truly an eye-opener. The budget for the Ghana Police Service. It highlights an absolutely unparalleled emphasis on security and integrity, which of course makes complete sense given their mandate. The sheer scale, the specialized, highly sensitive nature their technology needs, their training requirements. It's unlike anything we've seen in the other examples. Their context is national security, law enforcement, with personnel stationed nationwide. Their objectives are incredibly high stakes. Safeguard highly sensitive criminal data, intelligence data, operational data. Ensure investigative and evidentiary integrity data has to stand up in court. Guarantee full compliance with the Data Protection Act 80/8043 and specific national security laws. And enhance data-driven policing to improve public safety.
That's a powerful point, and it raises an important question again. In national security contexts, where data integrity and security can literally impact public safety, national security, the administration of justice, the investment is clearly non-negotiable. There's no room for error. It underscores the profound and direct link between robust data governance and societal well-being. Their total estimated first-year investment, it's a substantial GHS 23,472,000. That's approximately 3.4 million US dollars. The sheer magnitude here, compared to the bank and the university, immediately tells you something critical about the stakes involved.
Let's start with their personnel costs. They're budgeted at GHS 7,510,000, which makes up about 32% of their total budget. The Ghana Police Service allocates GHS 850,000 for a full-time director of data governance. And note this. The role is specified at a senior command level, the rank of DCIP or COP, Deputy Commissioner or Commissioner of Police. This is essential for providing strategic direction, enforcing compliance across all regions, and ensuring seamless liaison with other national security agencies. It needs that command authority.
They also budget for 2 full-time data governance and security managers, costing GHS 960,000 combined. One is specified as a sworn police officer, the other a civilian expert. They oversee the day-to-day operations, manage policy implementation, and ensure security protocols are strictly, rigorously followed. And they budget for 4 full-time forensic data and quality analysts at GHS 1,200,000. These analysts require top-level security clearance. They're critical for managing the secure data catalog and continuously monitoring the integrity of criminal records, evidence data, intelligence databases, specifically checking for legal admissibility and reliability.
Now, their data stewards allocation is massive. 50 officers, including unit commanders, regional commanders, heads of key directorates, dedicating a significant 25% of their time to data governance. That totals GHS 3 bells nodded. This reflects just how critical data definition, quality, and security are at every single operational level of law enforcement. It has to be embedded everywhere.
And there's a major allocation for data custodians within the GPS ICT Directorate. 15 staff dedicating a whopping 40% of their time, costing GHS 1,500,000. This is for managing highly secure, likely on-premise infrastructure, implementing advanced security controls, and meticulously managing access rights for extremely sensitive, often classified, data.
Okay, for technology and software costs, this totals GHS 8,800,000, or about 37% of their budget, a huge chunk. They prioritize a secure data catalog and glossary, budgeted with an enterprise license, costing GHS 1,500,000. This platform must catalog sensitive structured and unstructured data, and it must operate within a secure, isolated on-premise network. It can never touch public clouds.
An advanced data quality and monitoring platform, also with an enterprise license, is budgeted at GHS 1,800,000. This tool needs to continuously monitor the integrity of criminal records, the chain of custody for evidence. This is paramount for ensuring legal admissibility and reliability of evidence presented in court. A master data management (MDM) hub, again an enterprise license, costs GHS $2,500,000. This is seen as critical for creating an authoritative person of interest record, linking individuals correctly across multiple, disparate, highly secure databases, absolutely vital for investigations.
And look at this. A massive GHS $3 billion is allocated specifically for enhanced security infrastructure. This covers dedicated servers, specialized encryption hardware, advanced identity and access management (IAM) software, all specifically tailored for securing the data governance platforms themselves. And here's that crucial note from the guide emphasized multiple times. Standard commercial cloud solutions are not suitable. This is due to the highly sensitive classified nature of the data involved. It really underscores their uncompromising security-first approach. No compromises allowed here.
Now, in professional services and consulting, totaling GHS $1,950,000, which is approximately 8% of the budget. The GPS budget's GHS $1,200,000 for security data governance consulting. This is planned as a 6-month engagement with a specialized national security consulting firm. Their job is to adapt standard governance frameworks for the unique law enforcement context, focusing intensely on security, confidentiality, and the legal admissibility of data.
And they budget GHS $750,000 for a specialized law firm. This is for an incredibly in-depth legal review, ensuring the entire framework complies not just with the Data Protection Act, but also specific security service acts, evidence laws, and other relevant national security legislation. This level of legal scrutiny is really unmatched in the other examples we looked at.
Lastly, training and change management is budgeted at GHS $1,300,000, about 5.5% of the total budget. This includes GHS $500,000 for secure training module development. This involves creating custom, likely classified course content. It requires rigorous testing and certification and must be delivered exclusively through secure channels. No online public platforms here. And a significant GHS $800,000 is allocated for nationwide training and certification. This covers conducting workshops for all commands across the country, including the substantial travel and logistics required for secure training delivery nationwide. Training here isn't just about knowledge transfer. It's a critical security function in itself.
So their total first-year budget, including a substantial 20% contingency of GHS $3,912,000. Note, the higher contingency reflecting the high-stakes environment comes to that staggering GHS $23,472,000. This figure is a direct reflection of the paramount importance placed on data integrity, data security, and upholding the rule of law in national security and law enforcement, where the stakes are, quite literally, sometimes life and death. It's a really powerful demonstration of how this budget template can be adapted even to the most demanding, most sensitive environments. So we've really traveled through the strategic investment landscape of data governance today. We've been guided by Professor Richard Boateng and Dr. Jonathan Barnor's powerful budget template. We've seen how this framework provides a structured yet adaptable way to plan for those essential investments in people, in cutting-edge or highly secure technology, in specialized professional services, and maybe most critically, in fostering that necessary cultural change.
Indeed. And what's truly striking when you look back are the common threads you see running across these vastly different organizations. Despite their unique contexts, their different mandates, a major bank, a large public university, a national police service, all three prioritize dedicated personnel. They all invest in robust technology, they all rely on external expertise for critical compliance needs, and they all recognize the need for extensive training. These really seem to be the universal pillars of any successful, sustainable data governance program, regardless of where you are in the world or what industry you're in.
But equally fascinating, as we just explored in detail, are the tailored approaches that arise when they apply the same template. In financial services like EcoBank, the focus is clearly on navigating that complex regulatory environment. BCBS 239 was mentioned, managing those high security stakes, and achieving that crucial single customer view using master data management, which helps both customer experience and risk aggregation.
For higher education at the University of Ghana, the emphasis shifts. It's more about managing fragmented data across numerous academic and administrative silos, so that are often historical, deeply entrenched, and at the same time, securing sensitive student data, research data against privacy breaches. Their challenge is really about unification for operational clarity and building trust.
And then in national security, with the Ghana Police Service, we witnessed the paramount importance placed on highly secure, strictly on-premise infrastructure, ensuring evidentiary integrity so data holds up in court proceedings, and delivering classified training to a dispersed workforce across the country. That explicit note, standard commercial cloud solutions are not suitable for the Ghana Police Service. That really stands out as a powerful insight. It underscores the extreme sensitivity, the non-negotiable security requirements in that specific sector.
Yeah, and all these examples, they really reinforce the central message of Professor Boateng and Dr. Barnor's guide. A thoughtfully prepared budget for data governance, it's far more than just a financial outlay or some necessary evil you have to fund. It truly is a strategic declaration of intent. By comprehensively planning for all these costs, organizations are committing themselves to transforming their data, taking it from being a potential liability and turning it into a reliable, secure, and genuinely strategic asset, an asset that fuels their future. It's fundamentally about building foundational trust in the information the organization relies on. It's about mitigating profound risks. And ultimately, it's about unlocking future value, future innovation that would otherwise simply remain out of reach if the data isn't governed properly.
It's really about recognizing that in today's data-driven world, the ability to effectively govern your data isn't just some regulatory necessity anymore. It's a competitive advantage. It's a safeguard for public trust. It's a fundamental building block for long-term organizational success, whether you're a bank, a university, or a national security agency. It applies everywhere. So as you reflect on this deep dive we've taken today, maybe consider this provocative thought. What are the true hidden costs of not investing in data governance? Go beyond the quantifiable financial losses, data breaches, compliance fines, lost revenue opportunities, which can be staggering in themselves. What about the less visible, maybe more insidious cost of poor data quality on critical decision-making? How does inaccurate or incomplete data impact an organization's ability to innovate effectively, to respond to market shifts quickly, or even just to retain top talent who get frustrated working with unreliable information day in, day out? Think about the erosion of an organization's reputation, the loss of public trust that happens when data is mishandled or compromised. And maybe, if you're part of an organization with very limited resources, how can you still begin to build foundational data governance capabilities? Perhaps by focusing intensely on the cultural change aspect first, on allocating existing personnel's time smartly, before making huge technology investments. The journey has to begin somewhere, maybe with a single intentional step focused on people and process.
It's definitely a challenge that faces every single organization today, regardless of its size, its sector, or its budget. And it's one that absolutely demands strategic foresight and continuous, unwavering commitment.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the strategic investment of data governance. We really encourage you to consider how these principles, these examples, might apply to your own contexts, and to reflect on the immense strategic value that well-governed data truly brings to any organization.
So thank you very much, class. We finish with the presentation and then we can discuss. So let me start hearing from you. Is there any key insights that you have gained? Okay. Daniel Lamte said blockchain can be vital and cost-effective in data governance and management conversation. True. Is there a need, Monica? Is there a need for post-implementation budget audits? And how often should organizations review their governance budgets, and what red flags should prompt a revision? Wow. Monica, what sector are you in?
Hi, sir. Research actually. So I was just looking at the high cost of the
You are in
implementation.
research. What do you mean by you're in research? I don't understand.
I work with a market research firm, Eureka Insights. So
Oh, Eureka Insights. Interesting.
yes, please. Yeah.
Where are you located?
Currently our boss is out of town, so we are working from home.
Okay. But you have
He's
some
doing
current, you have some
his
current
MBA.
projects.
Sorry.
You have some current projects.
He's working on the current project in Kenya, but because I'm doing this course, I didn't join in.
Okay then.
Yeah.
Good. Is there a need for post-implementation budget audits? Post-implementation budget audits. That's after, you see, question is data governance part of the strategic arm of the organization? Is it part of a department? If it gets into a department, then by all means, when your budget, after you have implemented you still have to budget for the next year, the next 2 years, the next 3 years. and it will join all the budgeting processes, that internal budgeting processes that exist in organization. So at the end of maybe getting to closer to the end of the year, the new items or budget considerations for the next year, it will also be factored in. So there will be an audit by all means. But whether it will be how it will be done is more dependent on where data governance fits. Is it something that is sitting between two departments, or something that is sitting with one department, or something that is seen as an executive C-suite decision-making phenomena? So they'll just set up projects to implement them, and then the project leads report to them. I don't know. Yeah, so it all depends on the organization, how they set up it. But I believe so, that so far as you start it, ball rolling, and you start establishing it as part of the organization, whichever unit it finds itself, whatever the unit does, it will follow suit in what the unit is doing. Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you.
What regular
And the red flags, yes.
should prompt a revision? A revision of what? The budget or the policy itself?
No, the budgets.
Oh, but that
If in a situation where maybe
you just
someone
need oral. That's all. That's all. Operation recover all loops. If you start getting that somebody is one of the IT managers is giving a contract to somebody without an
exactly.
appropriate contract, you may
Yeah.
want to look into that. Yeah. But it
Okay.
depends on where you are. If you're in the public sector, the dynamics are different. If you're in the private sector, the
Yeah.
dynamics. If you are in a kind of entrepreneurial consultancy oriented firm where it's built around the skills of people, so there's very lean administrative staff like what you have in your office, and there's
Yeah.
more skilled personnel, then that's also a different dynamic. So I can't answer everybody's red flag in terms of the internal process, but anything that is not to the benefit of the organization internally or externally can be a red flag to you. And lastly, changes in the economy. Changes in the economy. Maybe you did this budget last year when the CD was 17 CDs or 16 point something. Now with it to the dollar. But now, if you are going to use the budget this year, you're going to still use 17 because you have a relatively for about 4 months, the thing stay around 10 to about 12 or 13. So wouldn't you want to reduce your budget so that you could actually release funds for other activities in the firm? So these are considerations that you may want to look into, unless you are DSTV and you don't want to do something, and then they'll have to use other means to let you reduce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you.
Yes. But you said what should prompt a revision? You should listen to what the minister said yesterday concerning his accountability series, especially with dealing with these foreign companies, and DSTV is one. So that's a red flag.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Daniel Lamte.
Yeah, Prof.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I wanted to say that just as you said rightly, it will depend on the way every organizations and corporates go about budgeting. Because even though the presentation kind of looked at the entire budget, that is allocation that goes to data governance, within a typical corporate institutions, the compliance unit probably would actually own maybe just about 10 or 15% of the total budget allocated for governance, because by the end of the day, the personnel budget will sit with HR, the systems and technology budget will sit with IT, and it goes on like that. So then it comes down to the very small bit that probably will be owned by the compliance unit themselves.
You have a point. So, and I think you have a point, and I tend to agree on one part with it. Yesterday, this discussion came out about the compliance unit. So, and that may be a legal unit, but it's not all the things that legal will take it up, and that's what you also confirmed here. if an organization wants to sees himself being in an area that there's a lot of legal issues, then the legal may take a larger part of this um, budget revisions and budget considerations. But if it is not, then the organization may let it go to the respective units. But let's just also be realistic. It depends on where the organization is in its life phase of development. If you are a mature organization, you are trying to introduce data governance. If you look at what I showed in the template, in the first year, there will be certain cost that will be one-time cost. And thereafter, you need a relationship with the vendor to have a maintenance agreement. Or even you may just not even have a maintenance, you may have a subscription agreement with them. And then and some of the other costs are recurring costs that may come a bit like you hire somebody to be a data governance expert. You sign a contract with a professional law firm to support you in some of the things you are doing. These things may come up. So when you sit on the budget table, sometimes organizations tend to do a chess game with the budget. Okay, this one will pay here. This one is about software. Let it come from finance, like you said. But this one, which is about law firm engagement, let it come from compliance. This other one that is also has to do with infrastructure and stuff. Let us come from some other budget that they may have. So they may end up doing this kind of interesting and then discussions to be able to fund the project. Yeah. So I don't think there is a one answer for the question, just as you mentioned. It all depends on the structure of the organization. My only issue I wanted to add to yours is the fact that where are you as an organization? Are you in your first year of the project or you're in the second and third year? Usually, as you get in and get more mature and there is some visibility of the value of data governance, a company may end up setting up a whole budget for it. And that is not touched because maybe after being sued by one or two companies, you realize that this one you can't, it's a no-go area. You need to have some dedicated resources for that. And that one could be cross-cutting. We take from everybody's budget and set it up. So I hope that answers the question. Yes, any other questions? Or what have we learned? Not just about question. What have we learned? I'm listening now. I don't want to be calling names. Let's talk. Hello. Let me hear from you what you have learned, class, or what you have gained from the information.
Yeah, Prof.
Daniel, hold on. Let me. People don't want to talk, so me I'll call their names. Cecil Thompson, what have you learned? Somebody calling herself Amma. What have you learned? If you start not responding, me, I'm taking notes. Okay. So Cecil and Amma. Okay. Remember, this is also being recorded. Okay. Amanda Amabel, what have you learned? So all of you are cooking and are not.
Prof,
Okay, Amabel, go ahead.
so I've learned that it's essential to have a well laid out budget that will guide the company on how to implement their data government policies. And it's important to make sure that for every policy that is made, for some companies, especially the private companies, it's important to show the impacts that it has, monetary impacts that it has to the company, so as they don't look at it as just a compliance procedure that they have to execute. So that's one thing I picked.
Okay. Amma, still, Menace, what have we learned? Thank you very much, Amanda. Menace, what have we learned?
Yeah. Yeah. So I learned that as much as data policy and governance is important, they are supposed to make sure that there are enough funds or budgets allocated for whatever tools or things they are going to use in order to make sure the whole process safe and everything goes well. Basically,
Okay, thank you very much. Dina Yeboah entry. Dina, we are waiting for you. Okay. So Amma, Cecil, and Dina. Okay. Elsa, what have you learned? Elsa too is not here. So, Elsie, what have you learned?
Hello, Prof. I learned that depending on the sector and then the organization, the budgets or the focus of the budgets may differ. So maybe it's not set in stone across all different industries. You may have a certain category, a certain organization focusing or having a higher budget on certain sectors or certain categories. So for example, maybe for one, they may focus more on personnel, or they'll have a higher budget on personnel than another organization, or for another, it's maybe IT more than another personnel. So it's not set in stone. So you need to go through this process to properly allocate the budget.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So please hold on, I'm coming. Don't wait. Elsie, is that your real name? Elsie.
Yes, please. It's Elsie Ogobisadako.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that name. Okay. Esther, what have you learned?
Hello, Prof. I learned that for your budget to gain some form of importance, you need some high level of, or some executives as stakeholders for some visibility for your budget.
Okay, that's true. You mentioned that. Okay. Hey, who just spoke? Is that Esther? No.
Yes, Prof, that's Esther.
Okay, then Esther, thank you very much. Okay, so
Thank you.
we have Eunice, and now about you now, I know you. So Eunice, we are waiting for you. Okay, you are not here. Okay, Godwin. Why you Godwin? You have been even active already.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, what did you learn? Look, I shouldn't even ask you. You were already asking me a question. Isaac AJ also.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Yes.
All right. So, for me, what really stood out for me was that, based on the type of organization that we are dealing with, the budget for data governance can vary widely, and depending on the level of security that they need to keep, and if they needed their own on-premises systems, like the way the Ghana police, a lot of cost was going into IT and technology, software and other things. So it's because of the policy
Hey, it's okay,
and
it's okay, it's okay. Hey, boss. Can now come to tear Ghana Police Institute. It's okay. Kingsford. I think I heard from you earlier. Kingsford. I heard from
Uh,
you.
hello, Prof.
Yeah, Kwame, that campaign Dako.
Yes, Prof.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yes.
Yes,
So I
let's
wanted to tell you what I learned from
okay.
this. So, I mean, basically, what I picked up is that data governance is also a core business. It must be treated as sales, marketing, accounting. You don't just shove it like this.
Like your argument. Very like your very good argument.
Yes.
Really,
So,
keep the rest for exams. The point
okay,
is
thank you.
it will chrome. So keep it for exams.
All right,
Can
thank you, Doc.
so mhm. Okay, so we have very good point. In fact, if you go on, your starting point is a very strong especially if you are looking at the way Ghana police is looking into it. I think I like where you're coming from. um Monica, we talked already. Patience Morrison. Patience Morrison.
Yes, I'm here. So what I picked was that key among the budget components, as we mentioned in the summary, personal cost, tech and software and all, there was contingency captured. But then I felt the point raised by Monica with regards to review was very important, because if we would have to let it roll to the point where there is contingency before we act, then I think there is a problem. So I found her point very relevant, which has to do with setting a budget for periodic review.
Yes,
So
please.
that as we are rolling out, constantly we are pausing to check if we are on the right track, if we are doing something that we shouldn't be doing, or if there's something that should be done that we are not doing.
Okay,
So
then.
that we incorporate it as we roll out, and then at the end we are able to get what we want. And by so doing, I think even the issue
Patience,
of
okay, it's okay.
contingency, the contingency budget
Patience.
is likely
It's
not to
enough.
even be
It's
touched
enough.
if the periodic review is done effectively. So that's what I also.
Patience, I said it's enough long time ago. You were still talking. Mm. Are you okay? Are we finished now? Patience, are we finished now? Hello? Patience.
Yes, I'm here.
I said, have you now
I said,
finished?
have you now? Yes, please, I am.
Okay, then. Thank you.
I have, yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have we have Philip here. Philip, what did you learn?
Oh, good morning, Prof.
Oh, good morning, Philip.
Uh, I also learned that when it comes to budgeting and finance, when there is sponsorship involved, it's very important to seek sponsorship early. And also, when it comes to execution, it's always important to have a pilot project first to be able to
Okay,
know how it will go.
thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I like the budget issue that you mentioned. Very, very good point. Shalom.
Yes, sir.
Fly away.
Uh, Okay, so I learned that so in this modern world that we live in, data is more an asset. So if it's well governed, so without proper management of data, it becomes a liability, and it could be messy or insecure. So with the budget template, it's more like a practical tool for organizations to turn their good intentions into probably investment for good use.
Okay. Thank you. Your beginning was a generic one. Then you cornered the budget template fast. Anyway, sometimes some of you, the way you answer questions, you end up going around the question before you come to the question. But it's good. You answered it anyway. Sophia also. Sophia also. Sophia, did you go to tech?
Please, I do. Good
I asked
morning,
that, did
Prof.
you go to? Yes, I was asking whether you went to Kenya.
Oh, please.
Oh, okay then. Continue.
Good morning. Please, I also learned that.
Oh, you have lost your voice. Oh,
Yes, I'm not feeling so well.
then you should have just typed your answer. You should have. You should have told me and just type your answer. Don't worry. You are
Let
pardoned.
me
So far, I pardon you. You can type your answer, so don't worry. Steve Efifa, may you get better very soon. Mm, I proclaim healing on you.
thank
Okay, Stephen Efifa Yamwa. Steve, not Stephen, Steve Efifa. Hey, okay, Steve is not here. Ted. Steve, you don't have a code, so if you are going to speak. Stop trying to type text to me. So I won't receive your text if you don't have a code, so you can talk. Ted, please, you can go ahead. Ted, you are also not here. Oh, you are here. Yeah, Asante. So
Yes, sir. Okay, so
Hello?
hello?
Hello, Prof.
Ted,
Can I
okay.
speak now?
Ted,
Hello,
go
Prof.
ahead. Yeah, please
Yes.
give me a second.
Yeah. So, Prof, what I learned is that a specific cost center relative to the entire expenditure for data governance should be allocated to a particular cost center. There should be a particular cost center where all the expenses will be allocated to. Otherwise, the politics of trying to break sections into different cost centers would make the whole process very tedious and difficult to manage. It's important for organizations to have a particular cost center for that.
Okay. So you are trying to solve the problem that we were having earlier that should it come from compliance or should it come from IT? And your solution is like what I was trying to say, that if data is very strategic to you as an asset, why don't you have a cost center built around it so that we can contribute from different
Exactly.
different budget lines, and then it prevents the ego ego flowing in the budget room, and also prevents people from getting confused on the certainty of what they actually have to do their work. But if you follow a data governance budget, if you're not very careful, you will leave a lot of things to the wind that, oh, when we get there, we'll pay when we get there. So you will never be concrete with some of the costs. And that's one thing that I always advise, that as the executive, make sure that you keep an eye on how whoever you put in charge of data governance is budgeting. Otherwise, he'll think that he's like a person that has no an unlimited access to resources, and you keep on just dreaming and dreaming and dreaming. Mm. So just be very careful. Let's be measurable. Like we said, start with a pilot and then grow into something bigger and better than what you said. Yeah, Asante.
Yes, sir. So I also observed that the structure of the budget is almost akin to that of what we usually present in an agile environment in software development, or I'll say Scrum, where we try to involve almost all stakeholders and we try to break the long-term project into smaller units so that we handle each unit or each stakeholder in relation to their specific budget, so that we don't end up, forecasting the entire project and assuming some cost to it, which usually in most enterprise risk management, you would struggle to, cover the entire cost if you don't break them into smaller units for you to purposefully handle them.
Okay, thank you very much. Steve, if you say your mic is not working, I hear you. We'll come and investigate. Okay, and then now I called you, you didn't talk. So if you are willing to talk now, we'll hear you. Whatever you have time, I'm not reading it. So Thompson, can you speak now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir, I'm here.
we are here.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said. There was
You,
noise in the
you will not
background.
hear what I said. Let me talk to Sister. In the salon, you're telling me that you don't hear what I said. I hear you.
Yes, sir.
So please talk, Cecil.
Yes. So what I learned is the concept varies from organization to organization. It's not a one size fits all thing. So you could consider putting it at the management level, or it could be a sub under the main governing body.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I have here Daniel, Lamte, Monica, Amanda, Amabel, Benis, Elsie, Dako, Esther, Godwin, Isaac, Owusu, Kingsford, Kwame Ampem Dako, Patience Morrison, Philip, Salom, Sophia Owusu, Ted, Asante, and lastly Cecil Thompson. Yes, I think I've gotten everybody here. I seen Stephen Efifa attempting to say his mic is not working. Steve Efifa, we hear you, which we don't believe so much. And then Eunice, who is in the saloon. Now, okay. We hear you. You are also not okay. So the people I mentioned first, thank you very much. I remember you in paradise. Thank you very, very much. Me now, this class, I was looking for a way of differentiating the marks. So the people here who are speaking, you have helped me very, very well. I have a way of drawing my differentiating participation and stuff. Okay. So the people I went to the list, if you didn't hear your name, it means that you are not there when I got to your turn. Okay.
Hello, sir.
You are now talking. Who is it?
Sir, this is Gordon. I did not hear my name.
Godwin, I mentioned. I said Godwin Isaac. Also, Godwin, you came out. Your name came after Esther.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Godwin, you are there.
Prof, is my name there?
Daniel, you're the first person I mentioned, Daniel Lamte.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So I finished. Okay, so let's move on to something else. Okay, so now that we are finished, the next thing is we preparing for examinations. And last week we wrapped up with a very important topic, and it was very, very good. We learned a lot from that. As you guys spent time